Hey everyone, if you're one of my subscribers that's been waiting on some content, welcome back. If you're new here, this is probably going to be a great place for you to be introduced to my channel because I have some cool new announcements that I'm just now slowly turning the gears on. For starters, you can see my face in this video. See, I wasn't really sure how the hell I was going to go about making this type of video, quite honestly, and while I do enjoy my gimmicky little slideshow stick figure things, I watch YouTube enough to know good and well that this is the format to do this type of video, so like my ugly mug or not, this is how it is. Also, I'm actually reading from a real script now, that's why I keep looking over the side. I usually just do it live or ad-lib on top of notes, so maybe this kind of new format will make things smoother, I don't know. I have a tendency to talk a little bit faster when I'm nervous, and this kind of thing makes me nervous, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can keep it together. Like this video title says, we have some updates. And they're pretty big for my standards, so let's just dive right on in. First, I'd like to announce my new website, injection.sh. If you follow along on Twitter, you may have seen the announcement already. This is the new domain. It's been this way for a good couple days now. And this small change is just going from injection.org with the little weird zero in the title to a new domain is just a huge development for me, considering the things I have planned. So in relation to the domain, the Injection Software Development Project, as I've kind of been calling the thing, is taking a formal pivot into what is basically what its whole goal was from the start. So for the past few months, it's been more of security and technology because that's what I do and that's where I'm going in my career. So it's not really just software, and it hasn't been just software for a long time now. So I'm kind of just reformalizing things. You see, when I first started Injection back in like 2013, I was really into mobile application development. So some of you may remember like Stickman Joe, Acuity, Bouncy, some of those weird little apps that I've made. And in fact, a dwindling few of those projects still exist on my site, and you can go get them. But the original goal of me kind of formalizing this organization was have a way to collaborate with others in building software. So at the time of starting Injection, I was going to college at the time, and I knew I'd meet some other developers. I also have some very, very talented family members I wanted to build things with, so I saw this kind of as a platform to collaborate and actually put something out there. Because, you know, it's not very often, at least around where I'm from, that a whole group of nerds kind of casually work together on something and just publish it to like an app store or something. That just doesn't really happen that often. And I wanted that. I wanted to casually build stuff with people that I enjoyed hanging out with just for fun, and then share that fun with the world. The biggest thing with that is not having my name associated with it. It's a group effort, and it should be distributed as such. So as long as whoever I was working with didn't hate the name or idea of Injection, we could write it together, and I'd help publish it, and if we monetize, we'd just split things evenly. It'd be pretty simple. But otherwise, either they had their own means to publish, or we never made things together that made it to that stage. So just quite frankly, I never made it to that stage working with anyone this far. And like I said, where I'm from, it's not often that a group of people working on like a casual project ever end up putting it on like an app store, or really even sometimes letting the project see the light of day. However, I didn't let that stop me. So I've obviously published several applications. None have any particular kind of meaning or are particularly amazing, mind you, but I did it to say that I did it, and then more importantly to make sure I learned how to do it. I can't tell you how many professional or educational settings I've been in now where I've had the opportunity to be a key resource clarifying either iOS deployment processes or even like other application deployment for iOS, Android, mostly mobile. But I saw this kind of project, this Injection project, as the opportunity to learn more about those types of deployment processes. So whether it was mobile apps, you know, publishing desktop apps, or even making like a game and putting it on Steam. I researched all of those methods and even published to a few of them just to say that I could and to learn how to do it for myself. But it's been at least 2 or 3 years since I've actually seriously dedicated any time to mobile app dev. I still write a lot of software, and I even maintain some fairly popular open source security related software, not just no mobile apps or games or anything right now. That's because I've obviously found a new passion in hacking and security over the years. This passion clearly overshadows the software development passion and it just isn't well represented by the brand Injection is showing today. It's still a lot of software, not so much security. So rather than change the brand completely, I just decided I was going to merge it into what it was actually supposed to be the entire time. So the new injection.sh domain kind of represents the combination of passion that I have for security and software alike. It kind of maintains the vision of collaboration and software development, but it kind of lets my truer passion of hacking kind of shine on through. So Injection has also been this kind of web portfolio for me, and it will continue to stay that. In fact, increasingly so. I have some major website updates planned. In fact, most of them have already been published at the time of recording this video. So not only will it show kind of my software skills, but it also give a clean breakdown of my security skills. So this is twofold. One, it's going to be nice to have if I am ever in need of employment. Right now I'm not, but it's always been a good kind of outlet for me to put myself out there other than just standard resume stuff. I've always been able to maintain my portfolio, and I think it's helped me a lot in searching for career opportunities. And two, well, this point actually brings me to announcement number 2. Announcement number 2 is actually kind of big. So I am considering starting an LLC. Before Injection it was technically a registered business, but that was really just a failed attempt by 18-year-old me to try to start something, but I was too scared to actually figure out how to do it for real. Yeah, so now I'm going to actually try to do something kind of for real. And you might be thinking, dude, you only have like a few thousand subscribers. Why are you considering turning this into an LLC? And that would be a great question leading into my next few points. So why an LLC? Well, I can tell you right away, it's not because of YouTube. Definitely not. While I do hope this grows, I have a fantastic full-time job, it pays very well, and I've even started doing bug bounties. More on that in just a minute. So no matter what, I'm not really looking to YouTube as like this main source of income or even like a main thing I'm doing anytime soon. I do this because it's fun and I love to teach, and I believe that teaching makes me better and it makes all of you better, and so this is kind of my outlet for that. Okay, so if not YouTube, what gives? I'm really kind of dancing around and doing like awkward segues, right? Alright, so reason number 1 for considering starting an LLC is this. I want to have the option in the future to perform contract work. And as someone who loves offensive security, I'd love to be able to do ad hoc engagements for various organizations. And as long as I have the time and I'm not violating any non-compete agreements, this can be a great way to earn extra money and gain amazing experience. In addition, it could be a good way to do things like gain specific clearances on like the government side. I'm not really sure if that's the path I want to go in my career long term, but I don't see why I can't give myself the options to do so. I want to give myself every opportunity to be successful as I can be. And I don't really need an LLC to do the contract work. You can always operate as like a sole proprietor, but there's some more formalities gained, such as the clearance side of the house. So there's some kind of benefits in doing that, and that's why I'm even considering it. Reason number 2 is I'm at the point where if I build a piece of software, it's going to be damn good. I am no longer some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed college student. I know how publishing works. I've worked professionally in software development, and I've put apps into production for companies. I know the whole chain, I know what it means to publish something, and I want to do it right. I don't have anything in the queue to be published yet, but I do have a few project ideas that I'm starting to see take form. And some are things like open source security tools, and others are like full-fledged video games. So I have quite the diverse set of ideas kind of brewing here. And some I'm even collaborating on with others, and some of these are solo. So being an LLC just lets me realize the vision of what Injection was supposed to be to begin with, especially in the realm of software development. Reason number 3, taxes. Duh, isn't that why anyone becomes an LLC? I'm mostly kidding, but there are some benefits to be gained there I'll kind of touch on. But obviously I can do most of the things I've mentioned as a sole proprietor, right? However, there are a few exceptions that I've already kind of mentioned in some parts of this that just require something like having a formal business such as an LLC to be able to take advantage of, like security clearances. And there's also things that having an LLC just makes easier, like publishing a video game with a team, right? But all of these things do come with the added benefit that I can write off many of the things that would hurt me financially out of pocket as business expenses. So from whether I'm buying a tool like Burp Suite or maybe a professional version of a development software, I'm able to write those off provided that I'm using them in that professional business contest. And this is especially nice because I've been doing bug bounties. And I kind of want to dive into that now. So I've recently joined the Synac Red team. Even got my merch in the other day. It's pretty sweet. So the Syntac Red Team is a private bug bounty program that you apply for, and you interview and you go through this whole process. And once you get in, you're more or less a contractor, which means eventually, if I make enough, then I have to come back around tax season and handle kind of those expenses and income that I made related to bug bounties. And honestly, it's more than easy to break the threshold of what might be considered taxable income, and there's all kinds of technicalities here. And again, I'm not a tax person, and I am not saying that any of what I'm doing is the reason that you should go do it too. In fact, you should go talk to an accountant or a tax specialist. That's what I'm doing. But basically, I'm going to get taxed a certain way anyway based on the bug bounties. So if there's not much of a difference, or if it's at least negligible or affordable between acting as a sole proprietor or having an LLC, then there's no reason not to do an LLC with all the other benefits that I'll get out of it in terms of my other goals and aspirations. So between bug bounties, potential contract work, software development, and maybe even YouTube at some point, it just seems like maybe it's a time to pay the fees and be an LLC. It's nominal compared to the structure and benefits that you obtain. I believe like where I'm at, it's like $200 or something, and kind of just depends state to state in the US. So yeah, over the course of the next few weeks, if everything works out, I might be forming a very small business structure, and I'm stoked to see what I can do with it. Even if it just sits for a bit as a formality, I like that I have the doors open should I need to step through. If not, oh well. I'll keep making YouTube videos and I'll keep doing all the other stuff. It's not like a make or break thing. It's just something that I really like to do, and something that I think might be a cool path to take. I'll certainly post some updates, probably even do another update video if that comes to fruition, but that's another kind of announcement that's brewing on the horizon. Alright, so for my final update, I want to announce 2 new series of videos. One, offensive security. This is a series about topics in offensive security. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Well, since offensive security is so broad, I'm actually breaking things down into kind of sub-series, if you will. So our first one's going to be offensive security C2s, and the first video in the C2 series should drop shortly after this one, maybe in a few hours, maybe days or a week. I don't really know. All I know is that the script is pretty much done at this point. I just have to go and record it and all that kind of stuff. So shouldn't be too far behind, but it may not be immediate, so don't count on it. The second item that I will try my hand at is live streaming. So I'm calling this series Lab Hacks. So I'm going to try using Twitch first, and I will of course download those videos and put them on YouTube. But basically I built a brand new lab, and I wanted a way to keep making the kind of raw hack-along type videos that I've made before during the OSCP journey. And I was inspired by one of Mubix's streams when he was doing like Hack the Box stuff on Twitch. And so I decided I wanted to try it myself. So these videos will be me hacking a box in my lab live. So some might be very short, just depending on if the box is easy or not, but basically each stream will be us taking down boxes system by system until we eventually reach domain admin. Now obviously I built these systems, so I know how to hack them. So the fun thing here will be exploring all the different ways that I can hack them, and maybe even finding ways that I don't intend. Also, hopefully the audience kind of interaction will kind of help us try new things and have conversations about techniques live, and that'll be kind of the experience about it. I will also, of course, be conducting like a full penetration testing process, so we won't just stop at like an admin shell. We'll gain persistence, we'll loot around, enumerate, and we'll make sure that we really show off what it is an attacker could do once a system is compromised, and more importantly, what a pen tester should be doing on an engagement to kind of help those who maybe have never seen that before and want some insight into how that works. This is a regular domain environment with a good healthy mix of systems, so while it may not be super realistic, it's going to be relatively similar to something you actually might see in the real world. That's the purpose of my lab and why I designed it that way. So that's all exciting stuff, but I have 2 very important things to add. The first thing is, YouTube isn't my day job. So I can promise no release schedule of any type or any regular video cycle for these new sets of content. I do anticipate being more frequent than I have been, but even if I'm not, I'm okay with that because this whole thing is for fun. So I'll do my best to get out content as much as I can, but I just want to be clear and upfront on that. This is not my full-time job. This is just something I'm doing for fun. So I put out videos when I feel like putting out videos, and I do it when I have time. I hope you all enjoy it when I do, and I'm sorry that for those that may want more content at a more rapid pace. It's just not going to happen at the current state. So just kind of want to be upfront and set that expectation, but I do hope to be pushing out videos as often as I can, and at least more frequently than I have been. The second thing I want to add, and it's probably the most important thing with the recent YouTube and Twitch hacking video controversy that's been going on, you may or may not have seen, but for those who aren't familiar, there's some terms of service agreements that are in place between Twitch and YouTube that ban hacking videos, and I think they're in good faith in a lot of cases. They're trying to prevent malicious and illegal activities being kind of displayed that can either be replicated easily, cause harm, or be impressionable on younger minds. Whatever the ethical accountability reason is, there is kind of still some gray, and there have been kind of reports all around of channels getting taken down or YouTube videos getting taken down that violate terms of service this way. This hasn't happened to me, but because all this is going on and I'm considering making new content, and especially streaming on Twitch and or just streaming in general, and considering the type of content I'm making. So yeah, so because all these new videos are actually tutorials now, and it's very possible that they could be misinterpreted or abused outside of a professional context, I'm going to be adding the following disclaimer to my videos. So I'm going to state the disclaimer, you'll see it at the beginning of every video, and I'm going to explain why I'm doing that. So here's the disclaimer. The tools, techniques, and procedures shown in this video are professional, standardized practices in the context of a career in offensive security. While these tools and techniques may be adapted by those with criminal intent, nothing shown or taught is of malicious nature, nor is the abuse of the tools, techniques, and procedures shown condoned or encouraged by the creator of the content. All of the content is carefully presented in a manner that encourages the positive spirit of hacking and education for those interested in a career in offensive security. Now I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent for a moment about that disclaimer because I really don't like having a disclaimer. I think it's dumb and I don't like it, but I do feel like it's necessary, and I want to explain why I feel that way. And I promise I'll only do this tangent once in this video, so you can enjoy all the content in the real videos. This video is for this tangent. It's not going to be anywhere else. It's just going to have the disclaimer. But I do feel like this needs to be stated. So for starters, disclaimers don't get you out of jail. They don't get you out of any legal troubles. You've got to walk the walk if you talk the talk. While I may have that disclaimer on every video, it's not to, CYA for myself or CYA for you guys. It's there as a reminder to myself and for the audience that what I'm presenting should always be taken as educational content for hacking and offensive security. It's very hard to present these topics in a manner that is purely educational, and so I'm inspired to follow as closely as I can to LiveOverflow's personal ethics, in that instead of building a tutorial on like how to make a Facebook phishing page, it's going to be better instead just to teach web development, because any competent web developer could make a phishing page for a Facebook site. You're not there to teach a malicious skill, you're teaching a valuable skill. That said, I am extremely passionate about offensive security specifically, and I personally have a different set of values when it comes to this topic. I believe that discussing the very fundamentals of the tools, techniques, and any of the processes that go into offensive security is important for both security awareness and training. So I am intentionally crafting this content in that light. All this content is either going to be industry standard or it's going to be valuable for research in some shape or form. And all I'm doing is taking that and converting it into a digestible set of video content about offensive security. So fortunately, what that means is if for whatever reason I'm not meeting the standards that I'm setting for myself, all of this information is industry standard and it's accessible in non-video formats in a manner that is meeting those ethical standards, right? So I see this as a privilege to be able to make these types of videos and this type of content. And while I do want to make things fun and entertaining, I am going to be very careful not to abuse that privilege. My videos will certainly always be legal and promote good ethics, and hopefully they'll meet a solid ethics standard that holds well to the various hosting platforms' terms of service. I think Mubix's Metasploit Minute series from Hack 5 is a great example of what I'm trying to achieve in terms of educational content for offensive security, and I hope to meet that goal. I hope you will all enjoy the content and find it meaningful and helpful, but if not, you can always leave me nasty comments and dislikes. Alright, so that's all the big updates. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on. If you did, drop me a good old like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.